going to be looking at some women entrepreneurs who are pioneering change in Africa. So by the way, I'm going to be covering 4 stories from more than 4 regions, basically, but it's just going to be some interesting stories, let's say, if nothing else. So let's first meet Kumba Dafeka from the Gambia. She's a lady local from Gambia, and she is the founder of Trésor Women Warriors with the mission to empower women in Africa. And her story is she basically has 6 farms growing organic food, or fruit or vegetable, not only fruit, but these are organic because they also have these chicken, poultry stuff, and they're taking the manure from the chickens and using it as fertilizer for their produce. That's how they make this organic stuff. And in 5 of those farms, only women work. And in one of them, there's young men also helping out with the farm work. So these are self-sustaining farms, right? So meaning they can actually cover the power costs, the water costs, or any energy costs. They can actually self-sustain, pay for their expenses, and also use the profit to support their families with. And when she started out, she had only 100 women. But as of 2023, she's reached 7,000 women. 7,000 is a significant number. And so these people are coming to work on the land. They're also getting educated. I mean, even if they don't know anything, they get the education and they start, working so that they can actually get back what they earn from their labor. Kufa's mother died when she was 12, and that was a difficult time for her because she was given out to somebody else to be raised, and that was a time when she decided no woman should be separated from her kids because of any circumstance, because she had to live her life without a mother. She decided one day if she's able to do something, then she needs to come up with a project. And this turned out to be her project because she was living in the States for 30 years. Somehow she said, I'm going to come back and I'm going to let these women stand up for themselves. So she founded this Trésor Women Warrior organization in the Gambia. And so they're providing entrepreneurship building skills, they're providing farming skills for women so that they can support themselves and their family. And eventually she's saying, we're looking for women to turn to millionaires. So all of these pictures you're seeing on the wall are from women who were able to accomplish a certain financial success. So they're not only farmers, it could be from different lines of work, but they did accomplish a certain financial success to have a post on that wall. So this lady is looking for women that she can support, that she can back up, so that women can actually stand on their own and don't need to hide themselves back behind their husbands or other guys in the family. So that's from the Gambia. Next, we have a story from Ethiopia. Bethlehem Tilehun Alemu is a local from Ethiopia. And she is the founder of soulrebels.com. And her story is interesting because she's using recycled tires to make shoes. I mean, this is very, very interesting to me because, you know, how do you come up with this kind of idea? But basically, she said, Barabasso, this is the first time I've heard it when I was covering the story. These are shoes or sandals worn by local rebels when they were rebelling against Italians. So they were making them out of tires. And she said, oh, since these sandals are used for rebelling against people invading our country, we're going to make the brand name after Soul Rebels, which is a wonderful idea. And so she said there were a lot of Ethiopian artisans who were looking for employment. So they were really good with their craft, with their skills. And she said, I wanted to give them a job where they can earn decent wage. So all these shoes are handmade. They're not machine made. So, oh, by the way, in this company, the Soul Rebels, there is no hierarchy. It's a flat organization. Everybody is equal, and there's no superiority or that kind of thing. And she's paying minimum of 4 to 5 times the minimum wage rate, whatever that is in the country. So, I mean, that's a considerable sum. But of course, the work requires, you know, attention and artisanship. But she says we're paying decent wages for these people, in addition to the medical insurance that they're getting. And in return, these people are coming up with innovation design. So they're actually bringing fabric, wonderful colors, and wonderful ideas of innovation, fashion, and they're coming up with these shoes, bringing together all these different ideas and crafting fashion. I mean, not only local stuff, but this is growing internationally. I mean, this place has stores all over the place: Spain, US, UK, Switzerland, Germany, Japan. It's mind-blowing for an African company reaching out to the world and opening up stores and wonderful designs. This is for real. But her story starts, she had a cook as a mother and an electrician as a father. So, you know, her parents were not wealthy people. They were not, I mean, she's not coming from a, you know, rich family, but she was a student in 2004 studying accounting in college. And she was also working in leather and apparel business. So she was trying to, you know, get work experience. And in this picture, you're seeing her sitting on tires. So she basically was not clueless when she was founding this startup. She had this experience in leather and apparel business. And but she also saw there was all these people looking for work in Addis Ababa, and she had the skills for accounting, for, you know, budgeting for a business. And she said, I don't want to work, but I want to work for somebody else, but I want to be my own boss, and I want to generate jobs for these unemployed people. And of course, it wasn't easy. When they first started with her brother, the shoes that they made, each of them weighed like 3 kilograms. And when she had to go to school wearing those shoes, she said sometimes they were so heavy, I had to take them off and carry them. And that's how bad they were initially. But of course, in time, they developed lighter and better versions. And I mean, that's the operations, the manufacturing side of the business. On the marketing side, she was trying to reach out to clients, people who she can sell to, and there was no internet. So she had to go and ask help from the internet cafe owners so that she can use the cafes to send emails to shoe sales companies. And out of 2,000 emails in 2 years, only 2 companies replied. And one said, "You don't even have food in Ethiopia. What shoes are you talking about?" So she was left with one returning email, only one from the market. And that email said, we need, it was from Urban Outfitters. That email said, we need 2,000 pairs to be sent to us in 15 days. That was a big challenge, Bethlehem says, because she only had 5 people and she had 15 days, and those 5 people didn't even eat or drink, she says. They didn't have any such time, but we actually fulfilled the order. We shipped the 2,000 pairs in 15 days. And that was our first customer. From the customer's point of view, it was social responsibility. But from her point of view, it was international order accomplished. She was becoming an international shoe salesperson. So that was a big success. And so now she has all these companies that she's delivering to all over the place. And I think she has more than 600 people working for the company all over the place. So she's generating employment. One woman from Africa. She says, oh, by the way, I forgot the fair trade. She is a fair trade brand, which means there's no in-between guys. She's directly sending it to the consumer store where people can buy. That's how she can keep the profit margin to herself rather than sharing it with all the middle guys. But she's also saying, if you're not constantly overcoming challenges, you're not an entrepreneur. So this is not like, oh, it's a field of roses, pink and wonderful. No, she's invested 18 years in this business, and she says it's constantly a struggle, constantly a struggle. Now we're moving to a tech business, even though she looks like a cleaning lady. This person, Aisha Pandor, has a PhD in human genetics. It's not easy to get a PhD. I know. I've been there, done that. It's very difficult to get a PhD. It hurts. But this lady, she has a PhD in human genetics, and she is the founder of Sweet South. This is from South Africa. When she was a kid, she was a very curious kid. She kept asking questions to learn for reasons. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? And when she got her PhD, she said it was nice to be in a technological area. Bioengineering, genetics, stuff like that is high tech, very high tech. But she said the impact I wanted to make was much larger. So she said she worked with a management consulting company, and she figured, well, we're solving problems, and basically we were solving problems in the academia as well, but in management consulting, the impact is larger because you're in the market directly influencing people right away. Whereas with academia, it takes time for knowledge to sink in, being absorbed. So she was actually making a choice, staying academia or staying at the management business. And one day, when they were in a holiday as a family with 2 kids and a husband, their helper was on a break, and she couldn't find someone to help her with the kids. And it was a very frustrated moment, she says. But then this idea came up because she said, I looked at the classifieds, I looked at everywhere, you know, the neighbors, family members, to find somebody to help me with the kids and housework. You know, with 2 kids, it's not easy to pull up the housework and everything. And she had a hard time finding somebody. And that gave her the idea, why don't we start an app to help people find reliable, good people to help them with their housework. And basically, it was a good idea, but they had to sell their house, they had to cash their pension, both her husband and herself. They had to sell the car, and they had to leave their corporate jobs. And they were basically putting everything in this idea. Her husband was doing the coding, and she was doing the marketing side of the business. And they had complementary skills. So they're both husband, wife, they're both co-founding partners. They're also working along in the company together. But the nice thing is they do complement one another. When they started out, they didn't have a hard time finding ladies, sweeping, cleaning, all sorts of ladies, because Bethlehem, Aisha had contact with a helper in their place, and she asked her help to find ladies, other ladies who would be interested in offering their services for this kind of an app, where they would be receiving higher wages than the going market. So one day when she came home, there was a whole line of women trying to sign up to this new app, which was being launched in the market. But the other side of the market, this is a double-sided market, people who are willing to hire these people didn't exist. And Aisha and her husband had to actually harass their neighbors. They had to stop people at the traffic lights and tell them about this app. See, there's an app like this. Would you like to sign on? You know, this is a new thing that we have. So they had to get people one by one. So this is really a cumbersome start, very cumbersome start. And it took them 1.5 years. With the money that they had, they were able to only cover themselves for 1.5 years. But then later, they had to get investment. So they had to pitch at a startup pitch, and that's where they actually got the investment. Now, she had 2 kids to start out with. When she was in the operation, I mean, in the founding stage of the company, she got pregnant. And she's saying, I was working before the birth and after the birth. I know I have delivered my son. I gave birth to my son, and through natural means, and I know how it feels to have a baby. I couldn't have worked before or after delivery. But this woman, she was working both before and after birth. This is, my God. And she says she hasn't had a full night's sleep for years now because of 3 kids. And this is during COVID, mind you. Very, very difficult. But she made it. Her husband was very supportive. in the coding, and her parents and people were all helping her out. She wasn't alone, obviously, but it's still very difficult to be an entrepreneur with 3 kids, 3 young kids. So anyway, so that's a tech story coming from South Africa. And here is Anushka Ratnayake. She is the founder of MyAgro. This is a nonprofit business. And she says the smallhold farmers in West Africa are very poor and they're cash poor. So by the time they harvest, that's when they have cash and they feel rich and they want to buy everything then. But when the time comes for planting, they don't have any cash and there's no banks for them to get credit from. Therefore, they have a hard time finding money for the fertilizer, for the seed, for all the needs you need to do when you're planting. And she says she was in Rwanda buying phone credits from this small boutique because she had to go and get phone cards from this boutique every time she needed. And she came up with this idea. Okay, these stores, these boutiques are very small, so farmers cannot go and buy fertilizer seeds from these stores because I mean the store doesn't physically have the space to put the material. But she said, and also the farmer didn't have the cash to buy this stuff with, right? So there were 2 problems, one with saving money, one with getting the fertilizer and the seed to the farmer. But she came up with a brilliant idea. She said, these boutiques, just look at how small it is. These boutiques were serving the same audience as we were. So if we could get the farmers to come and get a phone card from this boutique, and instead of using the phone card for buying phone credits, if we could use this card system to let the farmer save the money in this card, then when the planting time comes, with the money that they save, we can sell them the fertilizer and the seeds. Because this problem was not a small thing, okay? It was there was this risk of going hungry in this section of the continent. And so they started this system where the farmer goes to the boutique and saves her own money in the card, little by little. And while she's saving that money over there, it grows. And when the time comes for planting, MyAgro delivers the seed and the fertilizer to the owner of the card with the cash that they've saved in the card. So this is Amy Ka, one of the farmers in the MyAgro system. She has 8 daughters. I mean, I have only 1 son. I can't imagine having 8 kids, but she has 8 daughters. And she says, even though she's a farmer, she can't do farming all year round. So she basically has to sell her milk and go buy tea and sugar and sell it in the village, to get some excess cash to cover her expenses. And there were times when she had to send her kids to other houses in the village to get some food. So it's definitely very, very difficult for her. Then she started working with MyAgro, and her harvests doubled. And she says she was able to pay for her eldest daughter who graduated from college this year. She was able to pay for her school fees with the money that she made on her own from her farm. This is Mareme Sako, and she's from Senegal. And before working with MyAgro, she used to make 10 bags of peanuts. After with MyAgro, she's making 45 bags of peanuts from her farm. And she opened a shop in the village, which is 4 kilometers to the closest shop. So that's a small miracle to me. And this is Fatou Diome, also from Senegal. And she used to get 1 to 2 bags of peanuts. In 2019, she was able to get 22 bags. And she installed a water well in her house, and she built a new house with the proceeds from her farm. And so she's planning to open a cosmetic store in the village. MyAgro it's growing fast, and it has some job openings, and I wanted to leave you with this call, because they're looking for people all over the world. They're looking for remote people as well, like for the finance and grants manager. It's totally remote. You don't need to be in a specific place to do that job. So just go to myagro.org/careers and see if you can find a job where you can apply to, because there's a lot of them.